massive Badgers target, Kelvin Obot, 247, four-star offensive tackle, joins the show. We're going to talk about what makes his game so special.
You are Locked On Badgers, your daily podcast on the Wisconsin Badgers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is going on, Badger fans? Welcome to Locked On Badgers. I'm your host, Ryan Haringsengages, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. Appreciate you being here. We have a big-time prospect on the show. We're going to talk about his game, the recruiting process, what it's been like talking to Madison and Wisconsin, that staff, and what is coming next in his recruitment. Today's episode brought to you by 5 Hour Energy. Head to 5hourenergy.com to find 15 flavors to choose from. Need one now? Grab a 5 Hour Energy shot at your local grocery or convenience store. Stock up today and stay energized. All right, let's just bring him on. Kelvin Obot, welcome to the show, man. Really appreciate you being here. I want to start here. For people who aren't familiar with your game, describe your game.
Kind of just really focusing on technique, finishing blocks. I've been very blessed to have a coach who played the game for a long time and knows a lot about the game. Very well educated, great man in general. So it's been great being able to learn from him.
You know, watching your film on Huddle, one of the things I talked to you before the show is the excitement you have playing the game jumps off the screen. There's times you're just pancaking people and you get up, you're jumping around. What does it feel like in that moment just to decleat somebody, for those of us who have never done it?
Oh, man, it's a great feeling. You know, like the whole life, I've always loved football. No, I haven't always been a lineman, but I mean, it's fun just being able to take someone and it's fun. I don't know how to explain it. You kind of just gotta, just do it, really.
And you're lighting up talking about it, which I love. What's one of the toughest spots? Because you mentioned you haven't always played offensive lineman, so you've also played some defensive line, you played some other positions. What's something unique to offensive line that you really like?
I mean, this is the graphic. I mean, it's a graphic, a statistic that you don't hear a lot of people talking about. Offensive line is the only position on the field where your back's facing the ball the entire game.
That's
you don't
true.
You kind of just gotta play with like a lot of intelligence, like knowing how deep the quarterback is, depending on the play, if he's gonna drop. Like a draw play, for example, you can't like just set you can't wide set them, open up the inside, things like that.
Well, and talk about, obviously playing tackle. Is that the position you anticipate playing in college? Have coaches talked to you about tackle or guard potentially? Or has it just been as a tackle?
Primarily as a tackle. I've talked to some coaches say that they view me as like a tackle, that they think I could also play guard, but mainly tackle. But I'm cool to play anywhere. I just want to play football.
Well, and continue with your game. What's the thing you're working on right now? Like, what's the next step for you that you're working on taking as an offensive lineman?
Kind of just like every day, just grinding. Really, it's been really big weight room in the off season. I also do track, so I like to focus on that as well because it's something I would like to excel in. I really want to break our school record in that, but kind of just trying to everything I can to get better every day. It's been just grinding, strength training a lot this winter.
Well, how much time is that? I think people sometimes underestimate the amount of time D1 athletes put into their craft. How much are you putting in a week during football season with training, weightlifting, film study? Is it almost like a part-time job for you?
It's definitely a lot of time. It's 100% worth it in my opinion. But just kind of weights in the morning for typically around an hour. A lot of as much volume as you can get in there, and then like over the winter I was driving like 40-ish minutes to a place in Meridian called Off the Field training there. They do really good like speed and agility work. So at least a couple times a week going over there. Saturday with a group called In the Trenches in Meridian. We're in like 40-ish minutes away. Driving there to do O-line training along with training with my coach. So it's definitely a lot of time goes into it, but it's 100% worth it.
What has been the message? You mentioned your coach as experienced playing offensive line. What has his message been for you?
Just stay the course, so like just pretty much just stay the course, we just work hard, continue to get better as a man and obviously get good at football, continue to progress in that.
What are you like as a leader in the locker room? Like, what are a lot of people lead by example? Some people are more vocal. What is your leadership like?
It kind of just depends. I do. I talk to like before the game. Sometimes I'll talk to the team. I like to do a lot of leading by example, kind of just because, especially the younger guys. Like when I stepped in, so our weight room when I first got here as a freshman, when I freshman year in high school, it was kind of just disorganized. A lot of people were doing their own thing. But as like the last 2 year or like the last like year and a half ish, like just with me and a lot of the other guys around the team, we've kind of just built a really cool environment as a group. And then the younger guys are obviously thriving in that.
Talk to me about your team a little bit. What kind of offensive style do you guys play?
So I want to say it'd be called a spread offense. I want to say it's like we're pretty much split 50-50 pass run. We have a really talented quarterback named Titus Fidlak. He's a 27 and yeah, like really smart kid, really talented. So you're able to like really dynamic offense, able to do a lot of things, run a lot of like inside zone, outside zone. We do like a lot of RPOs and things like that.
Do you think that prepares you for the next level, maybe a little bit more? Because there's a lot of high school offensive linemen that are just coming from a program that maybe just runs the ball 90 times a game, whatever.
Yes, sir, absolutely. So actually, Fruitland historically has been a wing T football program. So we used to be that team that would just run, 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 run. But definitely, you get like just a lot more work, different looks depending on how people want to play you. Excuse me.
Yeah, no, what is the biggest jump you made from last year to this year, do you feel like, as an offensive lineman?
Um, because I've a lot changed for me last year. So we were playing at Boise State, and someone's leg got around, and they like kind of leg whipped me. So I broke my leg, and I was kind of having to sit there, and I was just like, if I get, obviously thinking the worst. If I don't get to play football, if I get to play football again, I'm gonna cut it loose. So that's really just kind of taking training to a whole new level and just kind of cutting it loose, giving it everything I have.
Do you think you'd be where you're at if that injury didn't happen? Like, do you think it's your mindset that kind of maybe stepped up?
Absolutely, definitely, just a lot. Being able to sit there and just think about because you never know how much something you love until it's gone. So like absolutely.
Is that the worst injury you've ever had?
Oh yes, sir.
How long did it take from being injured to being back into the game?
Um, I'm actually not sure exactly. It took a little while just because you lose a lot of muscle when it's demobilized, and so bringing it back and then you finally get to that baseline. But I mean, I had a great support staff throughout it, so really smooth process.
Let me ask you this, because I've had a couple other offensive linemen on the show, and most of them have said my favorite part of being an offensive lineman is getting out in front on a screen and just hunting down a linebacker or a safety. What's your favorite play? Do you have if it's leading for an offensive, for a running play, if it's pass pro, if it's getting out in front on a screen, what's your favorite play as an offensive lineman?
Favorite place counter. I love pulling. That's like I just love getting out in space is fun, but I mean getting out like counter is just I love counter.
Oh, that's all over your huddle film, by the way. You pulling and just demolishing somebody.
Yes, sir.
I think one of the unique parts of your game is your quickness. You're really an athletic tackle that can get out and move, great feet. Is that something that's always been natural, or is that something you've really worked hard on doing?
Yeah, definitely something that's been more natural, just blessed. I'm faithful. So I mean, I just thank God for the abilities and body He's gave me to be able to perform it as I can. But yeah, definitely, I was always like when I was smaller, I used to play up, so I was always like running back. I was always the fastest kid, and then as I got bigger, you know,
You miss playing running back?
it was fun. But I mean, people hate on the line, so it's kind of like a secret. People don't get how fun it is.
Let me ask you this. You mentioned track. Do you think track and what you do over there helps you as an athlete on the football field?
Um, Definitely, I'm not sure how much it helps me, but definitely, it's kind of like you're kind of like pass setting in a way because I glide, so it's kind of like pass setting, but just like balance and just being able to like twitchy explosion.
And I think I saw so 247. I think our rivals has you at 6'5", 265 ish. You're much bigger than that now, correct?
Oh yes, sir. It just there's a lot of it varies on where you're getting measured at, but usually around like 6'5.5" at least to like 6'6" and like 295 to like touching 300 almost.
Does that feel like your weight that you're trying to be at, or are you still hoping to get a little bit bigger?
Um, I'm very comfortable with the weight that I'm at. I'm just gonna continue on just getting stronger. So I mean, if obviously, as you get stronger, you're gonna put on weight. But I feel like I'm moving well for where I'm at.
By the way, I wanted to let you know, somebody like you ended my high school football dreams. I was playing defensive line, and an offensive lineman came across on a counter and just knocked me into another world. And I said, "All right, I'm done. I'm going to play basketball now." So someone like you ended my football dreams, by the way. I just wanted to point that out. We're going to take a quick second here. We're going to come back with Kelvin and talk about the recruiting process, the ups and downs, some of the schools he's talked to, visits coming up, and that journey to Madison. That's coming up next on Locked On Badgers with Kelvin. But first, a quick second for our friends of the show, and a quick second, as always, to say thank you for tuning into Locked On Badgers. Today's episode brought to you by 5 Hour Energy. And listen, I know sometimes daylight savings sneaks up on all of us. You want a little bit more energy. You want to get that hour back, that extra sunshine. It means more fun, but it also means you need more energy to get the things done that you got to get done. Whether you're staying up late watching the end of March Madness or doing whatever it is, just maybe being a dad and getting your kids to bed, you got to be able to keep up with your busy day. And 5 Hour Energy gives you that quick, refreshing pick-me-up whenever you need it. Right now, it's convenient. It's ready to go. Head to 5hourenergy.com. And you can find over 15 flavors to choose from, including watermelon, blue raspberry, peach mango. You can even build your 12-pack or 24-pack delivered right to your door. It's super easy, super convenient. It's fast. It's refreshing. If you need one now, grab a 5 Hour Energy shot at your local grocery or convenience store. They are everywhere. Stock up today and stay energized over at 5hourenergy.com. All right, let's jump back into this conversation with Kelvin. Really appreciate the time, man. If you have anything going on social media, I'm not sure if you do or not, but where can people follow you if you have a spot where you would like that?
So on Instagram, my handle's Kelvin Obama 72, and then on X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it, just Kelvin Obot 72. So that's like the social media I'll use.
Perfect. And we'll tag that in the show too. So if you want to follow Kelvin, I recommend doing that. Follow along as he goes through the football season and the end of this high school career. I want to ask here, man, when did you first realize football could be a journey for you to get to college? Like, when did you realize this sport could be it for you?
So, coming back from that injury, me and my coach started working, and he was kind of unsure of like kind of where I would project to, but he would always say just kind of keep grinding. I think you're definitely could be special. So just kind of hearing him that, and then in the summer doing camps and kind of seeing how I performed in them.
What was the first offer and what was that moment like?
So I was at University of Idaho for camp. I didn't really do any crazy camps this last year, but I went to University of Idaho and like Boise State, and University of Idaho was my first offer. It was after the camp. I did pretty well for the camp, but it was kind of I was actually kind of mad and upset at myself when I got the offer, because this kid I was going against, so they like picked the best 5 linemen to do and the best 5 D linemen to do one-on-one reps. So we went, and I was the last one. It was split 2-2, and it was all up to me. And I just overset him, and he spun inside, and I lost it. So it was kind of, it made me, I don't know. I was mad at myself, but definitely that was the first time I got offered. I got offered by Coach Ek after the camp, after winning O-line MVP as well.
That still stings you a little bit, that rep, doesn't it? I can
Yes, sir.
see.
Yes,
Do you know
sir.
who that was? Do you remember? Did you know him, or do you know where he went?
I actually have no clue.
Man, he's always going to have that rep over you, Kelvin.
100%. I hope he hits me up sometimes, be like, at U of I.
Yep.
I got you.
I got you. You overset and I spun inside. I got you. Let me ask you this. After you get that first offer, do you go celebrate somewhere? Is that a moment of like, okay, like I can relax. I know I can good enough for this level, or did it just kind of motivate you to keep going?
Definitely not. It was kind of, I got the first offer, and I was like, the first thing I was thinking, I was like, okay, it's time to go. It's kind of, I felt, because at that time I was just like working really hard for like the last year. I had no clue where I was at on football, and it kind of just gave me confidence. I was like, okay, I must be pretty decent. So I was like, going into the season, I was just like, it's go time.
What was like the family reaction to that? The people around you, your friends, family, were they really excited, stoked, surprised, supportive? What was that like?
No one really in my family knew that I guess even I had any type of college attention until really, I mean, towards the end of the season. So I just kind of, I don't know, I didn't really see the point in going out and like flaunting in front of like all of our family and whatnot. So,
Let me ask you this: what's the toughest part of being a top 100? Like you're a top 150 prospect, 4-star, offers from dozens of schools. What's the most difficult part of this process for you?
um, most difficult is kind of just sometimes it's obviously, me and my coach always say it's a great problem to have, but sometimes it's just too much in different moments for me personally.
Is that from like a timing standpoint? There's just too many people pulling in all directions.
What'd you say?
Is it from like a time standpoint? There's just too many people kind of pulling you in different directions all the time. It feels like.
Yeah, kind of just like it feels like a lot of people, everyone like there's like constantly text, constantly like people trying to get on the phone, and just sometimes like especially when the January season was coming in or like January, and all the coaches were able to come, it was just really stressful. So, but I mean, I wouldn't want it any other way.
Well, and what's the best part? Like, that's definitely something that a lot of other people have talked about how difficult the time investment is. But what's the best
Yeah.
part for you?
Um, Kind of just being able to know that I'm gonna have the opportunity to accomplish my dreams.
Let's talk about some of the schools you visited, and then Wisconsin in particular. Coming off this Wisconsin visit, what was Wisconsin? First of all, what was the first contact with Wisconsin like? Who contacted you, and what was that conversation like?
So they contacted me a while back in like November. I was actually on a visit to Nebraska and they were playing them, and they didn't know at the time, but they actually saw me at the game. But yeah, they contacted me back a while then, and it there's kind of just hotspot like a lot of coaches, they're super busy, so sometimes they'll contact you and then text you later. But I'm not sure exactly when later. I want to say probably they contacted me first in November, and then around December time is when they called me on FaceTime, Coach Blaz, and offered me.
What is he like, Coach Blas?
He's awesome. He's a real high energy dude. He's kind of real what's the word? He's not fake at all. Like he's always the same. So he's awesome.
Yeah, I've heard that from several different people. Just very authentic. Like he is who
Yes,
he is.
sir. Authentic. That's what I was thinking of. I don't know why I couldn't
No,
find something to it.
I've heard that from several people though, just how authentic he is. What did you like about Madison? Getting into the city, seeing the stadium, the facilities, the coaching staff. What stood out to you on this trip?
Um Mainly just the people. I mean, it's just a really good town in general, but also like the staff and the players are just really really cool people.
And then playing in you have several offers from the Big Ten. Do you feel like the Big Ten is the type of conference you'd want to play in? Is that maybe an ideal destination for you potentially?
Uh I would say I would say probably, but I'm not sure if conference necessarily has to do the biggest part to do with it, but just kind of finding the best fit for me personally.
And then to that question, and this is really hard because you have so many great opportunities, right? You have really no wrong answer here. But what are you really looking for? Like, what are some things that in my recruitment, this is really what I'm looking for in the school that I end up at?
Definitely development is kind of really big part. Just being able to go somewhere and kind of like I want to be able to stay there and not have to out, transfer out again. Don't want to be caught in the transfer portal. Obviously things can change, but kind of just mainly development and then just the relationship and cohesion of the team.
And I know you've started to kind of shrink your list down a little bit. A, what is that process like? How hard is it to say no to some of these really good schools potentially? And B, where is Wisconsin kind of in your interest level here?
So it does I don't know. It's kind of hard to explain, but it's just like you never like to have to tell someone that you like. Kind of just like I don't know if it's gonna work for me, just because there's a lot of variables that go into it. But it's just I don't know. It's not fun. Definitely not fun having to tell someone that, but it's necessary.
And then Where's Wisconsin kind of on your list here in terms of is that a place you could potentially see yourself ending up at?
Oh yes, sir. But I'm just kind of gonna wait till spring, hopefully, and then kind of just start. I'm not even trying to get some official visits locked in, just see where I'm at.
Well, and a couple other schools you have coming up, correct me if I'm wrong, but you're going to go see USC. I think a couple other schools. What's kind of next for your travel itinerary here as you continue to hit different spots up?
So yeah, so USC and Utah are the next spring ball visits coming up, and just kind of that's mainly it.
Do you have and this could probably change too, but do you have an ideal time where you want to say make your decision? Is that something you want to do relatively soon? Push it out. I know you want to get some official visits in as well.
Um, Hopefully before like senior season starts. So that'd be kind of ideal.
We got lightning round questions coming up with Kelvin, but first, a quick second for our friends of the show over at FanDuel. And what a perfect time. Baseball's just getting started. March Madness is going on right now. You head over to FanDuel. They have everything you need over there for March Madness, finishing up the tournament. They have live bets, parlays, teasers, spreads. It's all over there on FanDuel. Right now, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet hits. That's 200 extra bucks to use on everything from Cinderellas to buzzer beaters to who's cutting down the nets. Plus, like I said, football's going to be here before you know it. NBA is going on. Major League Baseball just started. Everything you need over there, they have it. The user interface is awesome. It's quick. It's easy. The payouts are incredibly fast. There is a reason they are the official sports betting partner of the NFL, of Major League Baseball, of the NBA, and of the Locked On Podcast Network. Visit FanDuel.com to get in on the college hoops action all tournament long over at FanDuel.com. Remember, new customers, $200 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet hits. That's over at FanDuel.com. You're not going to regret it. The simplest and best sports book you are going to find anywhere.
The NCAA tournament is here, and so is the bracket breakdown.
Locked On Podcast Network and Amazon Fire TV channels are teaming up to deliver NCAA tournament coverage like never before. Watch studio shows featuring former players and Locked On's local experts as they guide you through every upset, buzzer beater, and bracket matchup.
Stream it all for free on Amazon Fire TV channel. Search Bracket Breakdown to see it all for free.
It's your team every day.
We're going to play a little lightning round. What is your comfort food?
Comfort food. Is this the where I got to go fast?
Yeah, as fast as you want to go. No stress either way.
Comfort food, Idaho pizza.
I love it. So you're from Fruitland, Idaho. What is the best and worst? What the best and worst about your town? Like the best thing about your town, and maybe not the worst, but something that something unusual. Maybe what is something unusual or unique about your town?
Oh, I can go best and worst. So the worst thing would be kind of there's just not as much to do as other places, but because there's not as much to do, it also makes it the best thing because there's just kind of less going on. So
When you're not doing, oh, sorry, go ahead. I was gonna say when you're not doing football, what are you doing?
If I'm not like just sports or just football, if I'm not doing football, I'll play like basketball with friends or kind of just depends. Track, I'll throw like just go out and throw shots sometimes. A lot of training, kind of just hang out with friends, whatever that might entail.
What's your basketball game like?
Man, I'm green. I just be cashing stuff out. No, I'm pretty solid at basketball. I've played it. It was kind of my main sport for a lot of my life. But then, things can change. Things did change.
If you had to make a meal to impress somebody, like you had to cook for somebody, what's your go-to meal that you can make?
I I can't cook, but I'll do ground beef and eggs and ground beef and rice like 2 or 3 times a day. So
Who's a mentor in your life? Somebody you look up to?
My coach, Coach Gross.
What's the best game you've ever played football wise? Like you think back to and you're like, man, I was killing it that game.
Madden 20.
Yeah.
Madden 20.
Who's your team you go to?
To play, so I play Ultimate Team. So,
Dude, I love it. What is your goal after 4 years or whatever college you end up at? What are you hoping to accomplish?
I end goal is definitely to play in the NFL.
Is there a player you look up to? Somebody that you emulate?
Oh, my coach.
Is there anybody in the NFL you're like, I play like that guy, or I would like to play like that guy?
There's definitely some great ones. I mean, Trent Williams, Penei Sewell. I think that's how you say it.
Yep.
There's some great guys in the league. I really like Tyron Smith. Love Tyron Smith.
We'll wrap it up here, man. Again, really do appreciate your time. We're going to link your socials in the show so people can go follow you. To wrap it up, what kind of player is whatever school that's getting you going to get? Who is Kelvin Obot, and what kind of player is that college going to get?
I can't really say what type of player I'm going to be, but I'm just going to give it everything I have, and we'll see.
That was 4-star offensive tackle Kelvin Obot. Really appreciate his time. I think the thing that sticks out that you hear him talk about and you hear every other offensive line prospect talk about with the Badgers is AJ Blazek. Dude's phenomenal. He's awesome. He's authentic. He's relatable. What a great hire. What a great hire for the Badgers and Luke Fickell to have brought in, especially on the heels of having to kind of shift away from a Phil Longo offense, from Phil Longo's AJ Bicknell, like the hire that he wanted as the offensive line coach, to then pivot into an AJ Blazek and find a guy that seemingly everybody loves. Now, he's got to develop these players. That's the next step. He hasn't been here long enough for us to really evaluate that, but he seems just like a home run on the recruiting trail. What a great hire. And Kelvin just once again saying what every other offensive line prospect says about him. Tremendous guy, authentic. Yeah, the Badgers got to hang on to him. That's maybe the best recruiter on the staff, AJ Blazek. All right, we're going to wrap it there on Wisconsin. Thank you for tuning in. As always, really do appreciate you. When you're done, go check out Locked On College Basketball. Be the smartest college basketball fan in the room as March Madness wraps up. Our boys Isaac Shade and Andy Patton have got you covered on that front over at Locked On College Basketball on Wisconsin, and we will talk later.